Hey everybody, Mike here with another episode of Chewing the Fat with Rollin Picker. And I got to tell you guys, I'm pretty excited because I got a very special lady here tonight. Her name's Ashley, and I'll introduce you to her in a minute. I just want to make sure you guys know that all of her information is in the description down below. I have her YouTube channel and her Patreon page. So, which I support her Patreon page because she's just an awesome person. I'd like to say hello real quick to CC's here. Tracy Sykes is here. Tracy, uniquely me. Hey guys, I'm glad you all could make it. As I was mentioning, my guest tonight is, I know I haven't been on for a little while. We've been battling weather and just trying to do some change up some stuff. And to start off, coming back, I thought this would be great. I got Ashley from, I hope I pronounced this correct. You want to help me with it because I'll botch it up.
Yeah, Life with Ankylosing Spondylitis.
Ankylosing Spondylitis. All right.
Got it.
Right, got it. So basically, guys, what this is all about is a lot of the people that follow me or watch the YouTube channel or are on Facebook or whatever, a lot of them are disabled or they have situations in their life health-wise that makes things difficult. And I wanted them to see that they're not alone because they got me, and that there's Ashley. And Ashley, quite honestly, is a breath of fresh air. She's always bubbly. She's always bubbly. I don't think I've ever seen her down and out, even when she's having one of her bad days. And she is the epitome of what it is to deal with a disability or a health situation. That, like I always tell everybody, you guys are always important. You're always you're a valuable asset. You're not a liability. You're worth your weight in gold. You can be productive. You can do things, anything that you want to do, but you don't have to let whatever your disability is stop you. And Ashley's a perfect example of that. And, she went. I think she said her phone might go on her. She'll be back, guys. We'll keep it going. She's coming. She'll come back. So anyway, I'll tell you how I found Ashley. One day when I first got on YouTube, I was cruising channels, you know, kind of the way they recommend and look. And she popped up and it was talking about her tattoo. Okay, she's back. All right. And it was talking about her tattoo. So that was the very first video I ever saw about her, but she didn't talk too much about what her situation was. So I hadn't watched another video, I'd say in a few months or so. And then she popped up again in my feed. So I watched it and she was talking about her condition. So long story short, time goes by. I catch a couple more of her videos. I subbed to her and I started following her. Started watching a few things, and then I took a break. And then one day I was having a bad day. And in that bad day, you know, we all have bad days with our health or whatever. She was on live. So I went to go watch, and her bubbly personality, her energy, it's contagious, and her attitude is contagious. And it brought me out of my slump. And because of that, I also support her for Patreon because of that, because she does good. She helps people. She helps people with her condition, and she'll help anybody no matter what they have. So now that I see she's back, I'd like to go ahead and put the camera on her and have her tell you a little bit about who she is, where she's from, what she does. And if you guys have any questions, please post them in the chat, and I'll make sure that we get them asked. Okay. So without further ado, Ashley.
Hey, hello everybody. Thank you, Mike, for having me on here today. Very excited to be a guest on your channel. What can I say? I just turned 36. I'm a single mom in Ontario, Canada, and I was diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis 9 years ago now. So well, 8 years ago I was diagnosed. I've had it for 9 years. So um, yeah, it was a big shock to my system. I had just had my son and I didn't know what to do with it really. So I think having my child to raise by myself as a single parent was my shift in focus. So I didn't even really, oh, thank you. Thank you, Angie, for the happy belated birthday.
That's right. It was this last Tuesday, Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a birthday stream. It turned out to be really, really good. And this YouTube channel, this whole YouTube thing was created in awareness to my disease. And yeah, I was literally shocked to get a diagnosis such as this. And I honestly didn't, I think I was in denial when I first got it. So I just carried on, did my thing, didn't really focus on it too much, especially because I had a son to raise. So if it wasn't for the distractions of having a child, I don't think I would have been in the position that I was in. I think I would have been going through more depression and more shock and things like that to the situation. But being a single mom and raising a baby was like my only focus. It's the only thing I could work on. My parents have been married for over 40 years, so I didn't know what, raising a child by myself would look like. I've always seen two parents, and that was more of a shock to my system, I think, than anything. So I just carried on, my life, and then finally when my son had to go to school, that's where I had to focus on what was really happening with me, and I didn't want to have to do that. So my son's 8 now, and like I said, I've had it for he's almost 9. So I have had the disease over his birth because it was there, just didn't have symptoms until I gave birth to him. So I went for like a CT scan to discover that I had this disease, and the whole time they thought it was like a sciatic nerve situation. So they thought there was something wrong with my sciatic nerve.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we went for the CT and the MRI, and they're like, oh my gosh, you have to come in right away. It's something totally different. So I had never heard of it previous. I didn't know anybody with it. It was very rare, and now it's becoming more and more common. And I'm meeting new people every single day on my YouTube channel that has this disease. And basically, what it is, to explain, I see Angie asked a little bit about the condition. It's similar to explaining arthritis, where you have all over body pain, but where it's different is it's a degenerative bone deteriorating disease. So my bones are inflamed, as well as the tissue and area around the bones. They're inflamed, and the bones are deteriorating and turning to powder. So I do have bone deterioration already in my system, which was the starting of it all. And it's the lower lumbar joints. So just above your buttocks area is where your lumbar joints are, and that's where it starts. And it does spread all over body. I have it in my neck, my shoulders, my elbows, my knees, my ankles, my wrists. So it does spread all over like an arthritis, and it's similar to arthritis in the way that it can spread. The other thing that can happen is my body can fuse. So it's almost like a calcium situation where your body will fuse in that position. So I do take injection medications, which I have tried. I've been a guinea pig for the last 9 years, and no medications worked. I don't take anything for pain. I am in severe chronic pain every day. It feels like I'm being stabbed 24/7. And basically, the pain itself of the condition is what is so painful and why it's so chronic.
Is it like it degenerates? Like it's gonna, so it's not gonna like make the like your spine, like your lumbar. It's not gonna make it disappear, but it'll fuse it together. Or
Confuse, as well as you have the deterioration. And don't miss what? Who?
don't miss the. I don't understand that.
Oh, so basically, I'm going to lose mobility. I will be in a wheelchair at some point. Mobility will become less and less as the disease gets more progressive, like more aggressive and more rapid with the inflammation, I guess I should say. Don't mind my typos. Oh, she's on the iPad. Okay.
Those injections that you were talking about that you get,
Mhm.
are those to slow down the progression, or is it
Um,
experimental, or?
well, it's to help with inflammation, to try to slow it down if it will, and help with pain if it will. Problem being, everybody responds differently to these these
Mhm.
injections, and it doesn't help me as far as taking away the pain. It just gives me a little bit more mobility, but not enough to be so thrilled with. But it's the only drug to ever work in 9 years. So
Oh,
I'm sticking
wow.
with it. And I've gotten increase after increase after increase. So I just got another increase recently. And I just keep fighting for more. So whether or not it's fully going to do what I want it to, I don't know. And I guess in my mind, you got to remember that when you're in chronic pain, there's no cure for this disease. It's incurable.
Mhm.
So I can't ever expect the pain to completely go away. But I guess I have to prepare myself for, the worst, I guess, so that if it doesn't do anything, I can't be disappointed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's very difficult some days to grasp concept of what's going on, but your body builds an immunity to the pain that you're fighting. So I am getting used to this pain daily, except for the fact that, I do go into levels of more pain, and that's what is hard to get used to. Because when you've been in the same kind of pain comfort for a while,
Yeah.
as soon as the pain changes to more painful, it's
Mhm.
really stressful on the body. It's a big shock to the body. So I've been going through different levels of pain now, as well as like the fact that it's spreading all over body. Oh, thank you. Tattoos are a temporary pain relief for me. And I highly don't recommend this to anyone, but I'm one of those people where I should pierce almost one piercing in my ear like every month or something to help take my focus off my actual body pain. Because when you have a new pain, your body
You
focuses
forget yeah.
at the moment because it's the pain that you have. So tattoos are a type of therapy for me because not only do I love tattoos, but the pain itself is a temporary pain for me to focus my mind shift on something else.
Yeah.
So it's a nice therapy for me to change my mind focus, and I
I,
really, really love it.
I think it's safe to say you're into skulls too, huh?
I am. You can see them all behind.
Yeah, I remember the video when you were showing your tattoo and you were going to get it finished and all. And I mean, it wasn't even that advanced. It was, I think, just the outline and the skull and all that. And you were like, "Yeah, I'm into skulls." But anyway,
Yeah,
you're
skull.
right about the pain changing. It can't help it. Now, there's no type of pain management that they can give you at all. There's
Not
nothing.
for me. We have tried several. Now, keep in mind, there are different stages of this disease for many people. So, other people that have mild stages of this disease can take something like anti inflammatories or Advil or, very mild narcotics to help them with pain. If, depending on how severe it is to each individual that carries this disease, you could very easily take mild pain killers to help with this. But because my disease is more severe, we've tried all of those methods. We had to try each stage of anti-inflammatory, then we tried narcotics, then I've been on the injection I'm on is a biologic is what it's called, and I've been on several of them. I've been on all of them.
Wow.
Taken steroid injections. I've also done pain management therapy, and nothing works. So unfortunately, we've tried everything and nothing works. So I'm at the stage where I just wait for the next medical miracle or the next advancement in medicine. There is another medication coming out for this disease where a lot of the medications come out for psoriasis first, which is weird,
Mhm.
but we also get access to it, which it helps with us too. And well, you can do blood, uniquely me. There is a gene called HBLA27. That is the gene marker in your blood that can detect this disease as well. However, not everyone is positive for that gene. So myself and several other of my friends that have this disease are all negative like myself. They say it's a genetic disease and someone in your family could have it and it's hereditary, but there's no one in my family that has this disease.
Wow.
They do have types of arthritis, but I mean, it's still not ankylosing spondylitis. And a lot of people I know do not have it in their family either. But there are some cases where there are people that do have it. So maybe ancestors upon ancestors upon
Yeah.
ancestors, maybe, but nobody in my immediate family, nobody in my direct family, nothing like that. So CT scan is the other way. So because I was negative by blood, then we went on to the CT scan. So CT scan showed it and they instantly knew. MRI, they sent me further just to see how severe it was.
Yeah.
So
there's no, I mean, for me, they ended up, the final was a spinal tap. So they don't go anywhere near your spine with this.
They've tried going in with a, it's kind of where you lay on your stomach. They go in with a needle, they freeze around the area, they go in by x-ray, and they try to put a steroid, cortisol steroid in around the area. So they go in near, and they've tried to do that before. It actually was more painful and it caused problems for me. They don't do spinal tap for it. Nothing like that. Just pain management if you can. Basically, let's just put it this way. My doctors don't want me working at all. My doctors didn't want me working. They were against me wanting to go and try to work. Reason I do it is for my own sanity. I can't sit at home and dwell on it. I am able to move around still, so while I can, this is something that it is, yes, it is considered autoimmune. It is an autoimmune disease. And problem with autoimmune disease is when you have one, you're susceptible to many. And that's the other problem too. So I do have the autoimmune marker, which my mom has Crohn's disease. So I kind of got the autoimmune from my mom. And I do get checked for Crohn's as well. And there are people with ankylosing that also have Crohn's disease. Sometimes they work together.
Oh, wow.
It's very strange how that works. I'm also susceptible to something called iritis and earitis, where they can make you blind. So that's part of the disease as well. We get several eye infections, and it can make us go blind as well. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of problems that come with ankylosing as well. Thankfully for me, I'm still in stages where I'm just dealing with this disease. I do get a lot of eye infections, but I do get them taken care of. I do have to take eye drops on a regular basis. I'm supposed to stretch and try to exercise, and but the thing is, working out just makes me more sore. I am down and out for days and days and days. So I do moderate stretching. I don't overdo it. I try to be as careful as I can not to knock myself out worse. So
you could always stretch out at the tattoo parlor.
That's right.
that would count as aerobics.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, did I get dealt a crappy deck of cards? Yes. I think bad things happen to good people, unfortunately. And, it's unfortunate, but the only thing I can do is bring awareness to it and talk to people about it. I'm meeting so many more people all over the internet that have it as well, that are happy to find new people that have this as well to talk with and strategize with, and just have someone there for them in a sense, because in a way, there are people that don't have anyone to go to or don't have a support system. And thankfully I do. Sometimes I don't. So YouTube has become a therapy for me. But I think in a way I use this to distract myself. I've turned my channel now into a variety channel, so that's not just about ankylosing, because I would hate to only talk about that, because I don't want to get myself down on it either.
Understand.
So I like to change things up and widen my channel, and I do my injections on there too. I have videos of my injections. I talk about that as a way for people who are going to be doing those injections to learn from it, to see what happens. It's almost like a video diary of my life from earlier on. So because I've been on YouTube now for 4 years, we're only going back 4 years. That's when I decided to do it. But it's like a diary of my life from 4 years to now, and what will keep happening. So it's a good way to show people, what I was like then, what I'm like now, what I'll be like in the future, and kind of just broadcast my life in that way, I guess.
Yeah, she does do amazing makeup videos too, Tracy.
Yes.
I've watched a couple of those myself, not for pointers, But
Yeah.
just because it's interesting, to see some other stuff.
And I never got into makeup until I met so many amazing people on YouTube, and I had so much makeup, and I can't paint or draw with anything, but to have your face as a full canvas and to play with it, it's honestly amazing, and I love it. It's so much fun. I really like it. And just to do collabs with other people with makeup and to do tutorials and to talk about products and review them and tell people about them, that's one of the newest things that I've really come into that I really love. So
I want people to don't pay attention to, so get this, I do not wear makeup. She's lying.
I might have to send you some makeup.
No, but I did get that box that I won from you.
Yes.
And I'm going to go through it. We're going to,
Yeah.
I want to do a video about it. We're going to go through it. Angie already looked at some of it. And
Yeah.
she said, James, Katy Traders used some of that stuff before. So he's the guy that wears the makeup, not me.
That's funny. I hope everything came intact. I hope nothing was.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I kind of looked at it real quick and it was like, wow, that's some cool stuff. I'm going to have to try some of this stuff.
Yeah. And I thought it was neat because here in Canada, we don't have those big Walmart boxes. And the fact that you guys do in the States was a perfect opportunity for me to not have to go and shop individual items, but to buy these big packages that were, everybody can use the stuff in them. And if not, they might know somebody who can use it. So why not? You know what I mean? And even the ladies ones were great. The one person that won the ladies items, it was like makeup and, shaving cream and deodorant and shampoo and body wash. So lots of great items even for the girls. And I think the next time I'm trying to decide if I'm even going to do any more giveaways or not, because A, it's expensive, B, it's challenging, and C, YouTube is getting harder and harder to grow because we're small. But I'm trying to decide. There's so many. I've been thinking about doing some subscription boxes next. You guys have like $5 shave club in the States, so I thought those things would be kind of cool. So
I'm surprised that the Walmart, you have Walmarts up there, you say, but I'm surprised they don't have the same stuff. I mean, I know. So okay. First, I want to get into before I get into that about the Walmart thing, I want to get back to about the doctors not wanting you to work. Do they have a disability type pay up there like we have down here? Do they have like a Social Security disability?
They do. I'm only getting a portion of that because I'm actually living on my work pension. So basically, my work history is phenomenal, and they have something here called Canadian pension. And when you are working here in Canada, you pay into it. No different than I think you guys.
Yeah, we pay into Social Security. Yeah.
Right. So same thing here. So what they have here is called a disability pension. And when you've got a work history as good as mine was, I've never been on Social Security before. I've never had to go on unemployment before. I've always worked several jobs growing up. And they take your work history and establish if you've paid enough into it to get paid a disability portion from what you've paid into. So I did qualify for that, and that's what I'm living off of, which is now I am entitled to make so much money on top of that. So I'm allowed to work. I can't go over a certain amount. If I do, they deduct from me what I make. So I'm able to do it in a safe way where, I'm just careful about how much I work or how much I don't work. But I do it for sanity. Like my doctors want me to enjoy what little life I have left with the.
What little life? That sounds kind of.
I know it sounds
doom and gloom.
But little life in a sense of mobility. So mobility will get severe. Mobility is going to get harder. It already is. Walking is hard for me as it is, and I'm down and out every single night, hurting and all. Like we just went grocery shopping before I came on here, and I lean on the carts like a walker. I have a hard time. We can only go out for certain periods at a time because I can only walk for so long without being in immense pain. So eventually, like a walker I don't want to have one of those. It's pride. I think it's pride in me, but I just don't want to have one of those like kind of walker things where you can like kneel on them and they have the wheels. I think for me, it's a pride thing because I'm still really young and I feel like, why would I need that? But shopping carts work amazing for me. I can hide it a little bit. You know what I mean? But I don't want to accept that that's where I'm headed, but my body is doing it on me anyway. So I have no choice in the matter. But some people use a cane. I don't feel a cane is enough to hold me up, but Yeah, it's getting tough. I'm not going to lie. It's getting harder and harder and harder. Will I be able to work for the next 4 years? Probably not. I'm at a school working where I'm helping kids. So I'm not, other than going up and down stairs to go from floor to floor, that's the only thing that's really painful for me. It gives me exercise to be up on my feet and moving around
Uh-huh.
and monitoring kids. It's not strenuous. It's the cleaning houses that's strenuous for me that I do, for certain clients, and that part is harder for me. But I love the clients I have. I love the people I work with. I love that kind of stuff. I get to be at my son's school every day and see him. So it gets me up and out of the house. And it's not like a 9 to 5 job. It's actually 60 minutes in the morning. And then there's a gap of a couple hours in the middle. And then there's 60 minutes in the afternoon. So
Just
that
5 days a week.
no, it's 4 days a week right now because I asked them to take one day off. So I was doing 5 days and now I'm doing 4 days. I'm eventually going to go back down to 3 days.
So they're
And
very understanding then, huh?
they are. They're very awesome. And it's very painful for me to do anything. And I do it because sanity, I can't sit at home and do nothing. I would honestly never get out of bed. And I have to use the scooter at the store. It is. It's very hard. And I feel like I don't want to go there. I just turned 36. I do have the body on the inside of a 90-year-old woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's hard for me to still accept the fact I do push myself. I shouldn't. I do overdo it and I shouldn't. There's a lot of things I used to be able to do that I can't do anymore. And it's hard. It's a harsh reality to accept the fact that there are things you cannot do anymore. And it's tough. It's very tough.
Well, the thing that I find amazing is that despite the situation and how it's going for you, it's your mind. That's
Yeah.
I think for anybody, it's the mind. When you finally say, "Okay, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm giving up," that's when you kind of go downhill faster. I
Mhm.
think, like I said, I was having a bad day, man. I mean, I was in a very bad place, and I went to your live, and it was like boom, instantly. It was like, oh my god, I love this girl. I
Oh,
love her energy. I love her enthusiasm. I love her spirit. I love everything about her. I need to come here more often. When I'm feeling down, I got to go back and watch a video or try to catch a live, or and I think that if there was more of people like yourself, that would be an outlet for other people to that no matter what they had.
well, and that's kind
Sometimes
of why I
you just need that
created
shot in
this.
the arm.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of created this. The one big thing that I'm popular for is putting myself on the back burner, and how I do that is I focus on everybody else. So for
Yeah.
me to not think about my problems and not think about what I'm going through, I focus on everybody else's, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
for me, that's even another form of therapy. Is it always the best thing? Not necessarily, but I don't want to accept what I'm going through. I don't want to sometimes sit at home and go, oh my gosh, like I do that sometimes. And, a lot of insomnia comes with this disease as well, because when you're in severe pain at night, you can't sleep. The
Yeah.
last thing you can do is sleep. And my mind wanders at night. It's when my son goes to bed, I have all night to sit here and think about things that I don't want to think about. I just don't want to do it. I don't want
Yeah.
to sit here and dwell. I don't want to sit here and cry. I don't want to sit here and say, woe is me. So I do other things. I'll make videos for YouTube. I'll call my friends and video chat them. I'll clean the house. I'll watch movies and watch TV. And I do find that sometimes when I'm watching a sappy, sad show or sappy, sad movie, I do find I bawl a little harder than
Yeah.
I should. But it's probably because I'm so overwhelmed with emotion that it just happens. But you find a way to get through it, and you just do.
So, I know you said there was a situation you were having a problem with your foot. Did they ever find out what that
No,
was?
basically what it is um it's called a metatarsal, or sorry, Morton's neuroma. Morton's neuroma is a nerve in between your third and your fourth toe, and that's what we think it is. Unfortunately, they couldn't tell by x-ray or ultrasound, so I have to go for
Hmm.
an MRI. Unfortunately, here in Canada, MRIs are on a 6 month to a year wait.
Oh, wow.
So I'm still waiting for that. And as soon as I get in for the MRI, they should be able to see a little bit more clearly what it is. So Jessica, who's in the chat, No Drama Makeup Mama, they own a shoe store in Mississippi. And she actually sent me some shoes, and they are a more wide support shoe, which actually has been helping a little bit. Because some of my other shoes are a little bit too squishy on the toes and they crunch my feet together. And basically, I've been trying different arch supports and different metatarsal supports and different orthotics to see what helps. Everything kind of is, and then it doesn't help. So it's still not doing what I would like it to. But I don't know. A surgery is definitely an option, and they would go in and they would, I think, cauterize kind of that nerve to stop the pain. So I'm thinking that's what they're going to have to do. So
one question that I do want to ask, like in my situation, I know, they're going to be a time when, Angie's not going to be able to deal with it anymore. I might have to find me another place, or give me one of them Russian nurses, the real big, strong women, to come in and throw me around.
Russian.
But, yeah, the bodybuilders. But for you, do you have anything in place that when it gets to that, you've got anybody that is going to help you?
I don't. I haven't actually really thought about it too much. I know you and I were talking when I had you on my channel.
Yeah.
A little bit about support system and do I have anybody there. My sister, my mom and dad would be possible rides to help me if I can't drive anymore. But as far as someone taking care of me, I don't have anyone. But I guess I have to just figure it out when it happens, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, do they have, I mean, I know that I always see things about Canada and the medicine, the medical, that you got to wait and wait and wait, and they complain, and people complain about the medical down here, and it goes back and forth, and yet I haven't found any issues down here with ours. But
I guess I could get a nurse. I could probably get a PSW or
do they offer those services?
I don't know, especially because I don't have any work benefits. I don't know. I'd have to look into it, I guess.
Oh, wow.
I've never really thought about it. I guess I'm still in denial about that as well.
No Drama Makeup Mama said she'll move to Canada.
I know. I think I would need her. I try not to think about it. I know you're asking about it. It's hard because I'm like, ugh. I think I'm just in denial about it going that way.
Yeah.
I know it will, but I think I've just left that off and in hope that a miracle will happen. I don't know.
I understand. I mean, the reality is that for me, it's going to happen someday. But in my back of my mind, I'm going, no, I'm going to walk before that ever happens.
Yeah, and I know
you got to get in that.
I mean, will there be a miracle? Maybe. I don't know. I can only hope that with the advances in our medical and medicine, and nowadays things are being created much faster. I can only pray and hope that maybe something will come along. Will it reverse what's already happened to me? No. Will it maybe slow it down faster? Maybe, but nothing will ever reverse the scar tissue and the bone deterioration I already have. But maybe something can help with the pain, and then I'm more mobile. Maybe something will come out that will help and slow it down completely. I don't know, but I'm always hopeful. I'm very optimistic. Sometimes I want to give up. Sometimes I'm like, oh, screw it. They're never going to have anything, but I can't always think that way. I like to always think that there's something more at the end of that tunnel, and maybe something will happen for me.
Well, so you'd never know from watching your videos where you give up. I mean, you'd never know because you never portray that at all.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is who I am. I'm not a fake person. Like, I'm not one way here on YouTube and a different way at home. The only thing that's different is when I'm alone and I'm by myself and there's nobody here to see what I'm doing or saying or going through, I will break down. I will have those mental breakdowns. I will have those emotional cry fests. I will touch my pillow and scream into it and hope, I can take out my aggression that way. But I do have days where I'm sad and don't want to get out of bed. But if I show my son that, my son's going to take it in a hard way, and I would never want him to give up on anything. And I'm trying to show him that no matter what you have, you persevere. You know what I mean? You just keep going.
And that's what I wanted to show the people that are here, is because you're not a reseller per se,
No, I
like
don't.
a lot of us are.
Yeah.
And even though you're not, your situation is basically the same
Yeah.
for those of us that have a situation or a condition or whatever. And that, you can overcome it day by day, minute by minute, or however. I know we had talked about you had mentioned about the Walmart, and I've watched a couple of your videos. You talk about some of the places with the shopping.
Mhm.
Um, what do you use the shop? I mean, how do you entertain? Because you have your son, so I know
Yeah.
how you keep yourself busy. He's a very big, important part of your life. So how
Yeah.
do you keep him focused and keep him busy doing what he's got to do, like maybe schoolwork or
I
got to
never
do
complain.
chores?
I never complain about what I'm going through. So whether I'm in a lot of pain and I don't feel like getting up and going to do something, I know at the end of the day he wants to get out and do stuff. He wants to go out to a park. He wants to go out, to go window shopping, so to speak, or go look at toys or whatever. So I get up and I go. I get up out of the house. I drive us wherever we have to go. We go to parks. We go to we do hang out with friends. We do things like that. We went to the movies the other day and saw Detective Pikachu. We build Lego here at home all the time. He's always building stuff. I'm always, there are things that I can't do now, such as bending down all the time to pick things up. He's stepping up more and helping around the house. He's picking things
Good.
up when I need him to. He's helping carry groceries to the car, from the car to the car, that kind of stuff. He knows there's something wrong with me. To what degree, I don't think he'll ever understand until he gets older. But he doesn't understand it. I know that, because if I say I'm sore, he'll be like, "Oh, well, I'm tired from school." Like he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
This is something that's severe, and it's probably because I am still mobile. Had I be in a wheelchair right now, he might understand. Okay, mommy can't walk, so it might be something different as it progresses that he'll get
Mhm.
it a little bit more. But he's a really good kid. He is a typical 8-year-old boy that stresses me out till no end, but he's a great kid. And as a single mom, he is helping me out when I need him to. He does, take when I am having a bad day. Sometimes I'm snappier, sometimes I'm
Mhm.
meaner, sometimes I'm grumpier, which is, it comes with the pain. But he handles it well. He takes it well. He's doing a great job, and he's an amazing kid. So
That's good. And I mean, it's good that at his age he can realize a lot of that and what's going on, and it does make it easier. Tracy Sykes says in here, I'm grateful that my kids are grown before a wheelchair for me.
yeah.
Actually, can't guarantee that.
Oh, and I can't. So I hope it doesn't happen soon. But I've told him before there is a possibility that will happen, and I said, you're gonna have to push me around in a wheelchair. He's like, I'm okay with that, mom. And there's times that it's really hit me emotionally. Like I'm even fighting back emotions, because when it comes to talking about my son and this disease, it's hard for me to talk about, because I feel like I am not taking away from his childhood, but I don't want to be that person where he's the one that's solely responsible for taking care of me.
Hmm.
And it's hard. Like, it's very hard to, um, because I don't have a partner, and because we don't have somebody in our lives. He is the one that's kind of picking up the slack for me. So I feel kind of bad about that some days. And if I don't feel good enough to go out and do stuff, I always apologize to him, and I, let him know I feel really bad that mommy just doesn't feel like going anywhere today. I'm too sore, I'm hurting. Or if I go to work and I come home, I'm exhausted. The fatigue is something that
Hmm.
comes with this disease, that I've never had a break in the fatigue. And to be honest, it takes over. I would rather cut off all my arms and leg, than deal with this fatigue. And I know that sounds silly
Hmm.
to say, but the fatigue is something that just controls you and takes over your body and consumes you to a point where you can't even lift your head up. You're so exhausted.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm having a hard time coping with the most. Not just the pain of my back, but the fatigue and feeling like you can't go on, or you can't get up, or you don't want to get out of bed. I could sleep for 24 hours and I still feel like I need sleep. So it's absolutely utterly brutal to have fatigue problems. And I know the mobility is going to get harder, but just having this fatigue like this, it just makes it that much harder. So
And I think that's what I like the most about you is that never give up, even though you want to give up sometimes.
I do,
That
yeah.
never give up,
And I'm not gonna be that person that candy coats that, like I always have these moments where I'm like, would I be better off if I wasn't here? Would I be better off to just, gone? I think about those like everybody does. When you're battling
Yeah,
something, those thoughts will always come to your mind. We're not perfect. We're not, there is no manual on how to live life battling something such as this. And same with anybody that battles something like cancer or illnesses and lupus and, where they don't
yeah,
have a limb, like they don't have a limb or something. We always think about those things and it comes to your mind. But then you think of all the people that are here and all the people that you would upset and all the people that, would love you and are still here for you every day and the support system that you have. And,
yeah,
I would never want to devastate my child in that sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not worth it. And you just pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you move on. There's always going to be negative thoughts. There's always going to be that. But it's the positive ones that overpower always
hmm
at the end of the day.
I, there's something I do want to ask you. Because I've been asked this. I even had my second wife, my ex. She's going through a thing when she was born. Something about her brain was enlarged or something. Something's can't pronounce it. And they thought it would have gotten better when she got older, and it didn't. And she was having some issues, and now it's looking like she's going to have to go in. Her brain is dropping down into her spinal column.
Oh,
So
wow.
she's going to have to probably go in and have surgery. And I was talking to her the other day, and she's like, "Boy, how did you and I both get dealt these crappy hands?"
I know, right?
And I'm like, and then the next word out of her mouth was, "What did we do to piss off God?" And I'm like, "Do you ever get that where somebody says, uh, what'd you do, or why do you think God's doing this to you?" Because I tell people, God didn't do this to me. He didn't make me sick. He don't go around making people sick.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever been asked that? Because I get asked it all the time. And I'm
I
like,
haven't been, but all I can say is sometimes good things just happen to bad things happen to good people. I think bad things happen to bad people. I think, the way that life is nowadays, it seems like everybody has something, whether it's autoimmune or illness of some kind. I feel like
yeah,
this is the times now. I feel like there's always going to be something, whether it's anxiety or depression or autoimmune or illness or cancer,
yeah,
something. Everyone is getting something, and it all boils down to where people come up with the ideas of where this is coming from. Is it coming from our food? Is it coming from the pollution? Is it coming from who knows? But I
yeah,
don't really have a lot of people that ask that. I think more people are just like, oh my gosh, like, how do you cope with this? Like, I think I get a little bit more empathy about it as opposed to like, why do you think you got it? Like, I don't get a lot of that, I guess.
yeah,
But I guess that would be my response, I guess. I mean, I guess it's better that it's not something rapid that's happening where I'm dying tomorrow, so I can look at it that way. And there
yeah,
are people battling illnesses, and there's homelessness, and there's so many other things that are happening around the world. So I always look at there's something worse out there. So I guess I should be blessed that I have this and not something worse. So that's just pretty much how I guess I look at it.
uh, Make a Mama says also, I think Ashley has touched so many lives through this. There's never a good reason, but man, how you have risen above the hand you've dealt.
It's tough. It's tough.
That's that's why I encourage everybody, go into the description, click the links, go check out her channel, watch a
Check out my
couple of the
channel.
videos,
I do
and
talk about it from time to time. I don't like to bore people. And not that it's boring to some, but always talking about the same thing. I don't want to make people. I'm not somebody looking for empathy. I'm not somebody looking for pity.
mhm,
I'm not like that. So that's why I'm always so uplifting. I want to be positive. I just want to be happy and not think about it sometimes. So that's why I've made it a variety channel. So you always see quite a variation of
yeah.
many things on my channel.
And I put your Patreon link there in case
Oh,
after
thank you.
watching, they want to support you.
Yeah,
Um,
No Drama Makeup Mom is also one of my Patreons as well. So
and let's see, Anita says we have to count our blessings through the tough time. You know what? And that's why I'm so glad that I've got you here, because you you count your blessings, you never complain.
Yeah.
I can't say it enough, and I can't preach
I'm
it.
gonna tell you what I do complain about: bad drivers.
Bad what?
Bad drivers. My son would laugh right now if he was listening, but I do complain. I do whine just about other things.
So we have a little road rage thing up in
I,
Canada.
well, not road rage per se, but I wish I was one of those people who got to be discreetly, pulling people over for optional blinkers and things like that.
Oh gosh.
I'm just like one of those people where I'm always constantly like, for real? Like, seriously? This is how you're driving right now? So it's kind of funny, but I turn my aggression into other things.
Yeah, I could never picture you doing that.
I hate bad drivers.
I think we all hate bad drivers, but you of all people, I can't.
Oh, it's funny. My son would laugh at you or laugh at me talking about it, but it's funny. I'll be in the car cursing someone driving terrible.
That's insane.
Yeah, so it's kind of, I guess I turn it around in a different way. I've spun it around into aggression to something else, I guess, instead of, flipping out all the time about what I'm battling. I take it out on other things. But I try, it's just I could sit here and dwell all day long, but that's not going to get me anywhere. And I am always been a happy person. I've always been an outgoing person from day one. Anybody who knows me, even from childhood to now, will say the same thing. I am who I am. Like, this is my personality. I'm very easy to talk to. I love talking to others. I had the face for radio and the voice for television. You know what I mean? I always wanted to get into television and radio and things like that growing up, and the programs were always so oversubscribed. I took drama classes and did improv. I was on Broadway musicals in our school growing up, and I just love that, the acting, the talking, the
Hmm.
outgoingness. That's just me. And YouTube is easy for me because of that. And I'm glad I'm not a shy person, but thankfully I'm not, and I can voice myself on this platform, and I can help others, and I can, meet amazing people on the YouTube platform. And now I'm thinking about branching out to other platforms, TikTok and Twitch, and
Wow, you're going to be busy.
is to like try something else and bring traffic over to YouTube, So Twitch is something that is basically like YouTube, but the TikTok I'm not sure of. It's a lot more acting, a lot more being silly, a lot more putting things together. But I'm up for a challenge. Anything to keep my mind focused on something else is a great challenge for me. So
But that's what I was going to ask you. When you're working the 4 days a week, and I mean, and when you've got time on your hands, if you're not doing YouTube, what do you do?
I'm busy being a mom here. I'm cleaning houses when I'm also at the school. So I might be at the school in the morning and then cleaning a house in
And
between.
then you go and clean a house,
Yeah, I
and
clean.
you're in pain.
Yeah, I do.
Ashley, you're a strong woman. I'm telling you,
I know
because
people say
I'm
I'm
a wuss. I
crazy. Yeah,
wouldn't be able to do it.
people tell me I'm crazy. I think I have a strong will to fight, and I think that's I'm a fighter. I am. I'm a fighter. I will not give up. I will keep fighting until it knocks me on my feet to the point that I can't physically move. I mean, that's the only time I'm going to have to give up. But for now, I keep fighting. We have to move technically with this
Mhm.
disease. As soon as you stay in one position for too long, you do get really stiff. When you lay in bed at night, whether it's 3, 4, 5 hours sleep, whatever you get, you wake up severely stiff in the morning. So that's why they say exercise is important, activity is important, stretching is important. You have to move in some way, shape, or form, because that's how the fusion can take you as well. So not only are you in a lot of pain and you're confused, but you have to move around. To give you an idea of what happens, you fuse forward into like a C position. So you will hunch forward, and your ribs can eventually break and shatter and puncture your heart. So that is how it can become fatal. That's how it can become so severe. Does it happen to everyone? No. Does it mean it's going to happen to me? No. Can it? It all depends on the severity of this disease.
Can
So
they put a rod in your back to keep your back straight and
I
from
don't know.
bending like that?
I'm not really sure. I know when it comes to surgeries and things like that, they're really particular because of my age, for one. So, hips were my problem in the beginning, and they refused to do a surgery because of that. Like, my age is so young.
Oh, wow.
Um, they are, I guess we just deal with it as it comes. I really don't know what they're willing to do because it depends on what you're going through at that time, how old you are, how brittle your bones are. So I guess you just kind of go with the flow, I guess. I really don't know. I'm not sure what they will do. But
I agree with Tracy. All chronic pain sufferers should move as much as they can without inflicting more pain. My situation, I can't stand without help. So, and the thing that's interesting is when I'm laying flat on my back is when I can move my legs.
oh,
If
really?
I'm sitting up, I have a hard time moving my legs, or when I can stand with help and put weight on them, I can't move them. But if I'm laying down flat, either on my back or on my sides, I can move my legs. It's really weird. So I understand about and if you don't use it, you'll lose it.
That's right.
So
And that's the thing. My friend K Dog is his name on the channel. I met him through my ankylosing spondylitis groups and stuff like that. And
K-Dog's a cool guy.
yeah, and he's already fused in his neck, so he can't turn his head from side to side. He can only move his entire body like
Oh,
this,
wow.
side to side. He's a little bit older than me. It does affect men and women in different stages at different times. Like, he could be ahead of stages of me. He has already fused there, and he is having other problems. He was only diagnosed a year ago, and he's got it that severe in his neck. So that is what will happen to me. When? Who knows? Can it happen anytime? Absolutely. We just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it scares me sometimes. I say this to him all the time. As much as I love him, it scares me to see what's going to happen to me by watching it happen through you. So in
Yeah.
that sense, sometimes it's scary because to know other people with this disease and watch them suffer in different ways than you, it's kind of a scary, like, heads up, like, this is what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
So it is kind of freaky in that sense, but I love him dearly. Like, he's such a great friend, and we've helped each other where, he has a wife too, and he has other kids, and it's hard to have a spouse even to
Yeah.
understand. So I get to see it from his aspect where he has a wife, and it's hard for her to understand every day what he's going through. And I've had conversations with her when we've hung out before and said, listen, I know you may not understand, but this is really what he's going through. And, I can only be another person to say it, because when it's your husband or your wife, you might think, oh, whatever, we don't know if they're exaggerating, milking it, whatever. And I said, listen, I know I'm another person, but this is what I go through. And the fact that he's got this too,
Yeah.
like, it's not going to get any easier. So, but I've made, like I said, some great friends that have it. Last night I was live. I did a spontaneous live last night, and 4 people, we were all in there with ankylosing spondylitis, and we were all
Oh,
talking to each
wow.
other. One was from Wyoming, one was from 2 of us were from Canada, and one was from another part of the States. And it was really cool. Everyone was kind of like, whoa, there's 4 of you in here? I'm like, honestly, there has been times where there's been several people in a group chat somewhere where we all have ankylosing spondylitis. And my name isn't something that you can miss because it's very, specific.
Yeah.
I kept it that way because I didn't want people to not know what I have. Plus, if somebody has it, they're going to see my name and come right to me and gravitate towards me. And it's been working. It's honestly brought so many people. I've been in Pusa Studios before, and people wrote me and said, hey, I have ankylosing spondylitis. How are you? Or I've been in
Yeah.
Green Mackies and met 2 people in there that had ankylosing, and they're like, wow, you have it too? Holy crap. So it's really nice to have the name where people can come to me and say they have it. And I'm meeting more people every day that have it. So
Yeah. I want to answer something here about CC. CC, it's not my situation. It's not a pinched nerve. Okay. What's happened is the nerves themselves in the spinal cord. There's an outer coating that protects them, and pieces of that coating have gone away. And so it's like exposing the electrical wire, say the wire to the outside, and no protect coating. And then on top of that, my spine is twisting. So if you look at me when I'm standing or sitting, um, it's really funny. My hips are in one position, then my belly button is straight, but then my mid torso is twisted to the left, and then my upper part of my body above the chest is turned back center to the right. So it's like a big twist. So I don't know if it's the pinched nerve or it gets it in line, but I don't think it's a pinched nerve. And I've tried chiropractic and massages, and it doesn't help. Um, but unlike Ashley, my bones aren't gonna disappear or dissipate. It's just like he said. The doctor told me there's no surgery to fix it. I
Yeah.
can't fix you, but I'm waiting until I see the specialist in July. I'm going to see the guy that's world renowned for this MS in the MS field, and if he confirms the new diagnosis, there are 2 injections I can take a year to slow the progression down.
Yeah, and I hope you find out what it is. I know we've been kind of, since I had you on
Yeah.
my panel, we've been talking about it and just the things that you've been going through. I really hope they can help you narrow down more what it is.
Yeah, he's saying that the new doctor. Well, at first, okay, you talk about you could always be in a pity party in a pissy mood and this and that. When I was first diagnosed, the first doctor diagnosed me with Lou Gehrig's
Yeah.
ALS, and I'd already been messed up for a year, and already messed up for a year before he came to that diagnosis. And I instantly went into the I hate God pity party, the dark cloud. I was ready to die because I went like an idiot and did research, and the average person with Lou Gehrig's only lives 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a few cases of 5 to 10, but it's mostly 3. And then, you go through all that. Like I understand, like we had talked about, you go through this.
It happens. And you also go through stages where some doctors will want to re-diagnose you. So I even had to go to another doctor. Like the doctor I go to, I drive 2.5 hours to see in Toronto. And he is Ontario's largest rheumatologist specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first went to him, because I was going to another doctor, he said, we're going to spend the next 8 hours and we're going to re-diagnose you. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Mm-hmm. So we did blood work, scans, bone scans, MRI, CT scans, all in the one day. And we spent the entire day testing me to make sure, because we couldn't figure out why no medications were working, why nothing was helping. And they wanted to make sure that it is ankylosing spondylitis. So I spent the entire day in the hospital doing testing all day. I was exhausted by the end of it. And he said, this is what it is. And he's like, there's no way around it. This is what it is. And honestly, that was amazing for me because, there's those people that go and get a tattoo or whatever, or something to say, hey, I have this. And it's like, there are those situations where you could have a disease that mimics another one, and they might just need to switch a few things to find out if it's this or this. So I was very thankful to have a doctor willing to do that for an entire day to figure out if maybe I was misdiagnosed because nothing was working. Yeah. Nothing seemed right. There was different things about my disease that were so different from other people with the disease. Like that's the thing. There's nobody that has necessarily the same situation for each disease. There's always going to be differences. There's always going to be things that come about or whatever. And they were just in shock because I am more severe and nothing was working. So they didn't understand why.
Wow.
So it was tough, and I'm glad the doctor was willing to do that. So to finally say, no, you have this is what you have. It was crazy.
Yeah, CC says, I know that there is a reason I have whatever it is, that God will use it and me for something. And I think that's what God's done to you, Ashley. Yeah, He's using you to get in front of other people with it, to assure them that they're not alone, and the support group. And I think that has a lot to do with that. Those are the kinds of doctors that are a blessing. I'm lucky to have a great doctor to send me twice to other specialists to make sure that they agree with our treatment plan. That's from Tracy. Man, I'm lucky I got the doctor I got here, because after the first one, then the same first one says, oh, I misdiagnosed you. You got PLS. I lived with that, figuring, okay, I'm going to die like you got Lou Gehrig's, but it's going to take 15, 20, 30 years. And then I end up getting here, and this doctor goes, you know, we have made advances in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, you should have, there was an injection you could have taken that would have slowed that down. He says, so he does the same thing, all the tests, but I convinced him I didn't want to do the spinal tap again. And he's like, he kept, no, they're not fun. And he kept doing the tests, and he finally came back and he says, MRI and all, I don't need a spinal tap. I think I'm going to send you to this specialist. I know him. This is what I think you got, and this is what I'm going with. And I'm like, well, you know what? At least, and it was my own fault. At least you had doctor that said, I want you to see another doctor. The doctors that I was seeing up until this one was like, no, I've got the definitive answer.
Well, I'm a fighter, like I said. So when it comes to my health, I fight and fight and fight. And I'm going to tell you completely honestly, I can be a snot bag. And when it came to my doctors, I was like, listen, I don't think you're helping me anymore. I need somebody who will. And if you're not going to find me someone, I'm going to fight until I do. So I had a rheumatologist in my area who was literally 40 minutes away. And it got to the point where I felt like every time she offered me something, it wasn't enough. It wasn't just enough. I felt like the budget because you get a budget in your area for medical, and there's only so much they can offer you as far as treatment plans. And I just felt like, okay, you can only offer me this, but you're telling me other places are offering this. So how do I get there? So I said, I don't care if I have to drive 5 hours, 10 hours, 14 hours. Just tell me where I can go, how I can get more options, and find something that will help me. So she said, okay, well, I can refer you to this doctor. You know, he's Ontario's leading doctor in rheumatology. He's really good on his game. They do get advancements where they can get these medications faster than we can. We can't have access to them yet. And it's like jumping through hoops here. People might think, yeah, Canadian health is better because it's free. It's not always free. There's a lot of medications I've had to take where they are not free. The one I'm on, for example, is $2,000 every injection, and I'm on 5 and 6 a month. And I'm not paying for that. My insurance doesn't cover it. I've got the company Novartis, the drug company. I had to email them crying and writing and screaming and yelling and calling to get help because the government will not pay for these things. I was on Remicade. Remicade is a $10,000 infusion for 45 minutes. And I had to take 3 of those a month. So I couldn't pay those out of pocket. There was no way in heck I could pay for that stuff. So there are things that are not covered. And being on a disability here in Canada doesn't mean you necessarily get everything for free. Simple eye drops are not covered. They're $40 out of pocket.
Wow.
I had vertigo I got vertigo from one of the injections as a side effect. And the drug I was taking was $5,000 a shot. And it also gave me vertigo, and it gave me oral thrush in my mouth. It made me very, very sick. I had so many side effects from so many drugs that after a while you feel like you are a guinea pig. And the medications for vertigo were $90 out of pocket. I had to get my dad to pay for them because I had no money. I had no money at all, and I was crying, and they had to rush me to the hospital because I couldn't move. I felt like I was dying, and it turned out to be vertigo, and I've never had that before, and it was terrible.
And yet you still have a smile on your face after all that BS.
Absolutely. And I don't know how. I wish I could tell you I know, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. I guess I'm just a fighter for life, and I love people. I love hearing other people's stories. I love hearing what other people go through. I love knowing that I can make somebody's day. I mean, I do love that for sure. I feel like some days I feel like a therapist, I love helping other people. I like listening to their struggles, their problems, even if it's just they're mad at their husband. I'll listen, But
and that's what I tell people is, and I had somebody that I've seen in chats before, Susan Gill, I think her name is. She had said it one time, and I use it now whenever I get an email or something, and people are talking about, well, you're this. I say, hey, look, man, you think you got a problem? Why don't you lay in bed and wait for somebody to come in and empty your catheter bag? Wait for somebody to come in and change your diaper. Wait for somebody to come in and pick you up, put you in a wheelchair to take you outside so you can get some air or go see the doctor or drive you where you got to go, where you have to lay in bed and let somebody do that and then tell me how well you think it is, in 24 hours or 48
Absolutely.
hours.
And that's what brought me like so much excitement, was getting to know you myself. Like, you have it a little bit more severe in a sense where you're not you're not mobile.
No,
And
but I'm going to be. I got that chair where I
that's
think
right.
well,
Sweetie,
we had it working, but I think the dang batteries had a self short for being dead for a year, like they
okay.
and I still think I need a new charging unit for it. But man, for the price, God gives.
That's
And
right.
he's like, fix it. And then I've got the other one in there we're going to fix and give to somebody that needs it or give it back to the church. And I want to go find these chairs that
And
are
just
broken and fix them.
like,
Yeah. He's like, oh crap, I got to go change it. I got to go drain his bag.
oh,
No,
yeah,
you don't.
you're
Just,
just amazing.
but let me tell you what, my daughter, I'm very fortunate
You are.
to have
She's
my
amazing.
daughter. And there is someone else outside of the family that I know that had made the offer if it ever becomes tough. Actually, they'd be willing to move to Texas. And but if I didn't have Angie, um, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd probably be in one of them places that you hear about on the news where people die because the AC doesn't work, or they don't get fit, or they never get a bath, or they
Yeah,
short their meds and stuff. And my daughter is a godsend. She's a blessing from God.
you are,
Um,
Angie.
you
There's,
know,
there's not enough people like Angie out
oh,
there.
there's not. I mean, she gave up her life to make sure that I could keep living.
Yeah.
And I know how she feels sometimes because she'll walk in here and she'll say, "Let me adjust your pillow," and then she'll pull it out from behind my head and she'll put it over my face, you know. And I'm trying to scream to the pillow, but I love you.
Yeah.
I love you
I
too,
love
Dad. And
it. I
she's
just love
pushing down harder, to the threat of putting me in the wheelchair and
it.
pushing me out in the middle of I-10.
I always tell my son that too. Please don't, if I'm in a wheelchair, please do not push me down a hill.
Yeah, no, that's what she's like. I'm just going to push you right out, and
I love the humor.
yeah,
It's
well,
one of the
you have to laugh, and you
Mhm.
have to have the humor because I tell her, I say, well, you know what? In the middle of the night, I get up and I eat potato chips over you while you're laying in bed.
Yeah.
And she's like, I knew you get up and when you walk, you're just milking, and then
Yeah.
we have that
I
joke.
love that though. You guys have a funny humor, and I just, and just chatting with someone like you, you're going through something as well, and it's so nice to have people in common with that are going through something, and we can all take something from each other and use it as a strength to help guide us through something else we're battling. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You aren't mobile right now. Will I be in that position at some point? Possibly yes. And it's nice to see how you are handling it, and you're helping me as well. Not only prepare myself, but I love how we've built a friendship from our struggles.
Exactly. And and I feel the same way with the people that are in the chat here that have issues. I feel the same way. They're all good friends. I love every one of them. The main thing I want for anybody that comes by and sees this or happens to watch this when it reloads, and what I want everybody, I can't reiterate this enough, is you are not worthless just because you're sick or you have an illness or a situation. You are not worthless. You are valuable, not just to God, but to your family, to your community, to the people around you that are your friends. You have self worth. You have something to give and to share. There's never a reason to feel like, that's it. I'm just it. That's it. I'm done. This
Yeah.
is who I am, and screw it. And be this self pity. I mean, your dad gave me hemorrhoids. I didn't give you hemorrhoids, Angie. You don't pick me up anymore anyway. It's James.
I love it.
He does. See what my kid does to me? Blames me for everything.
Love it.
And because I always get the last slice of bread, she always, Dad. But anyway, that's the main point is I want everybody to understand and that's what I wanted my channel to be like yours, but to help people that were selling or getting into it that they could sell. But then I think it's gone extended past that. Oh, meaning I'm a pain in my ass. Oh, I'm a pain in my ass. All right. Well, I'll just make sure the pillow's ready. Um, but that's how I wanted my channel to be, just like yours. To reach out And it's kind of gone a little crazy with the chewing the fat and a few other things. But I think it's morphing that way because there's more people in need. You know,
Yeah.
I want more people to know. I want more people to know you. I want more people to know those that have like K-Dog and any of the other ones that I mean, I could go down. Well, I mean, Angie now she's got hemorrhoids, so I want them to know her, and you know, and then look at Tracy Sykes. I know she says she has a niche situation. People need to know each other. They need to know they can reach out, they can talk, they can share. You know, that's and that's what you've done. I mean, I consider you a very good friend, and when I do get my chair set up, I'm going to get an air horn on it because I think I read it somewhere. Tracy said, or somebody, or no, somebody said, was it Tracy that said the hardest thing is getting in that chair at the grocery store, but not if you can run people over.
I'm
And then
gonna
you have the excuse, hey, they took my driver's license away 6 years ago. I have a learner's permit. I'm in learning, you know, or like for me, my saying on my thing is coming through, you know, make way coming through. I'm going to put an air horn on mine and then I'm going to come up and visit you. And when you end up in your chair, we're going to deck yours out and we're going to go to the malls and we're going to terrorize everybody.
I love it.
I've taken the role of the curmudgeon. I'm the guy that yells at the little kids so they don't come near the neighborhood. They come to the house and this and that. You have to find something else that's far greater than you. It's your son. It's your son. You know, for me, it's my granddaughter, my daughter. They're more important than I am, and that goal makes you strive to do other things.
Yeah, and I think that it's always good to have something to look forward to. And that's, that's what my son is for me. So I do say lots of times, if it wasn't for the fact for him, I probably wouldn't be here. But I'm just thankful that I have him here so that I don't have to go through that. So
Yes, Tracy, you can come along too with the air horn. I'm going to put a whipping flag on mine, and I'm going to have flames put on it. We're going to take it out. Yeah, I'm going to wear a spiked helmet.
I love it.
Cool stuff.
Deck it out.
We could be the three amigos in wheelchairs someday. Hey, I don't have a problem with that. Well, you know, you say you need support walking up. My mom just told me the other day. I was talking to Mama Chelly. She says, you know that walker we saw where you stand up, and I go, yeah, I was going to get you one. She says, well, they were like $1,500. She says, I was at this store where I pick up some supplies, and they had them there for $500. So she grabbed one.
Oh wow!
And the neighbor adjusted it for her because she bends over and rests her arm on her walker.
It's a poster.
And rests her arms on her walker and bends over when she walks, like you do the shopping cart.
That's why the shopping cart's a blessing.
And this walker allows her to stand up, and her arms and elbows are up on the support braces, and her hands are holding the controls like a joystick. Mm-hmm. And you can, because she's mobile, but she wants to stand straight up. She's starting to get that over. So, did you ever think of something like that where you could stand up?
No, I didn't. That's posture is one of the things that we need to do, and I'm guilty of hunching forward all the time. That's why we need to keep our posture straight up, because that will help the fusion go faster. So that would be a good thing for sure. They even check our lung span too, because our lungs are making it harder too. Like it's part of the ankylosing. There's problems with our breathing in our lungs, so we always have to get our chest expansion measured every time we go. And yeah, everything with staying upright is the point. You got to stay as upright as possible. Like even me, I don't even do it because it's just natural to lean forward, or but that's a great thing for sure. I just need to be in a sling where I just stand there straight, like hang me from a wall or something. Like, I'm trying.
So you're saying the more you can keep the spine straight,
the better. Yeah.
But you want it to fuse straight?
No, that's the other thing. I wouldn't want it straight either. I think I'd almost want it forward instead of straight, but
you don't want bent over like you were saying, where the ribs could crack and all that other stuff.
Yeah. I don't really think there's an even safer way in between. I think if fusion happens, it just happens. So it's like whether or not you're in the right position or not, it just happens. So
all right. Well, guys, I'm going to want to wrap this up around 6:30, so I want to give you guys a chance. If you got any questions you want to ask Ashley, whether it's about how whatever, she said she would answer the questions.
Yeah.
Because tonight's auction at MSP is with Vicky Porter, who is another amazing individual who had rheumatoid or just arthritis when she was 20 since 23, and she's learned to live with the swollen joints and the another inspiration, and she sells jewelry and she does things, and another inspirational person. So I want to make sure that we all get over there to support Vicky and Dwayne and Heather in there. And again, guys, in the description, Ashley's link to her channel, Ashley's link to her Patreon. Make sure you go check them out.
Yeah, check it for sure.
Check them out and let your heart guide you. At least follow her, man, and watch her videos. If you need a laugh, a shot in the arm.
Even if you want to lurk, I accept lurkers.
Yeah. Well, I lurk sometimes before I come in and go.
You gotta lurk, because who wants to type to 40 people every day? Like I'm the same way. I like to lurk, and if I feel comfortable enough jumping in there, then I'll do it. But yeah, I'm so glad that you had me on here. I love sharing my story, and I love chatting with you. Of course, I've enjoyed our friendship, and thank you for that. And yeah, there's only so many amazing people in the world, and you got to enjoy them all, right?
Well, yeah, and that goes on. What I've always say is it's not always about reselling, not always about jewelry. There's other things in life, other people to go see and meet, and you can learn so much. And I've learned so much from you. And
Thanks.
Carol's, I'm lurking on you guys now.
Love lurkers. I always welcome lurkers.
I love Carol. She's a Kathleen Brandt. I'm a lurker.
30% of my viewers are lurkers anyway. They're not even subscribers, so it's perfect.
Well, I mean, I like to lurk when you're on, because at times I just don't want to jump in, because I usually come in the midstream. So I don't know what's being said. Y'all could be talking about makeup. I could come in and say, "Hey guys," and say something else about something, and I'm like, "Oh, sorry, back up."
No, it's totally fine. That's the good part about my channel. Everybody talks about so many things random, and I know some people are always like, "Well, what do you guys talk about when you're live?" And I've changed my schedule on my channel. I was live streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now I'm not. It's ended my schedule.
So what are you doing the lives when?
Spontaneous live. So I'll go live at random. It's not about the lives to me. It's about my content. So I'm working more on videos and doing things like that. And, it's a bonus if you get to see me live. That's how I'm going to make it. And if we get a chance to chat and do that, it could be anytime. So I did an afternoon stream on Thursday. And then I'm going to do some morning streams sometimes, some night streams. I find that I like to cater to different groups for different time zones and just jump in. And I haven't seen a lot of the UK group lately because I've been going live late at night and they're in bed. So I just want to switch it up. So I like to catch everybody. I used to do that before. I used to live stream all random times, and I'm just going to play it by ear. We'll see who's live. If somebody else is live, I might wait an hour, or I'm just going to play with it. I just want to enjoy what I'm doing, love what I do, not let it overwhelm me or consume me, but at the same time still fork out content with videos and still check out the streams. You know what I mean? So I like jumping into everyone else's too. So.
Well, no, I agree. I agree with you. There's the set thing becomes a chore, and sometimes you take a break and people wonder what's going on, and they'll always think the worst thing. Are you okay?
I'd rather look at a video today and be like, vlogging throughout the day and piece it together and put a video, because sometimes things happen throughout the day that could be interesting. Sometimes it's just me filling you guys in a 5-minute video, which is a lot easier than streaming for 4 hours.
You need to film the road rage. I'd be interested.
Yes. Oh gosh, I should.
I want to see what Canadian road rage looks like, because I know what American road rage looks like. Angie, if she had a gun, she'd be shooting people.
Oh, I just
they don't turn the blinker off. They never turn their blinker off, or they leave it on when they make the lane change. You don't know what they're doing, or they hit their brakes all of a sudden. And I know if Angie, if she had a shotgun in a car, dead to be making the news,
And the people that cut me off and then don't use their blinker, and then they expect me to know where they're going. Like, are you left? Are you right? What are you? Like, it's terrible. Like, you can only go so many ways, but why aren't you showing me where you're going? So funny. People on the road, it's the worst. Oh, thank you for the happy Mother's Day, Gary.
Yeah, that's right. Happy Mother's Day. That's coming up tomorrow.
Yes,
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in here.
yes, happy Mother's Day, everybody. It's a great day to celebrate so much love, and being a mom is a hard job. I'm not going to lie. It's a tough job. It's a roller coaster. So, if you know somebody is a mom and they're not even your mom, give them some love.
Yeah, most definitely. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Well, I want to make sure everybody has a chance to grab something to eat
Yes.
or a drink or whatever to get ready for the show. So,
Thank you for having me. Thank you guys
hey,
for being here.
I I totally enjoyed it. I'm sure they enjoyed it. What I want to do now is I want to give you a chance to. Is there anything, last little words of wisdom, little nuggets you want to give anybody?
Just honestly, guys, never give up. I mean, there's always something to fight for. There's always someone to fight for. Life is always going to get you down because life is difficult and challenging, and it is a roller coaster. But just remember, there's always somebody out there that could be going through something worse than we are, and always slap a smile on your face. Life is so short. We don't know how long we're here for. We don't know our expiry date, so just live each day, enjoy it. Life is precious.
Right on. I don't even know if I can do better than that, but I'm going to try. I want to thank everybody for being here today that came to this awesome show and to listen to Ashley, this awesome woman. Um, if you guys find this interesting, pass it along. Make sure that you share it after it reloads. And for those coming along, if you've got any comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel because I'm going to try to do some more interviews. Um, But I do want to leave you all with one thing. And I know everybody thinks it's redundant, but I can't help it, man. I'm asking God today to bless all of you, every one of you. I'm asking Him to give you that healing that you so rightfully deserve, and for Him to give you that which is yours. That is the righteous, the honest. I want Him to give you great health, happy life, happy family, and just rain down His grace and His blessing down on you guys. And I'm going to ask not only that blessing for him to do that, but I'm going to ask him to do it in Jesus' name to do it. And with that said, guys, I want to thank you for coming. I'm going to see you in the next video. Make sure you go over to MSP Auction. I saw Dwayne just popped in. Make sure you get on over there and support Dwayne and Heather and Vicky tonight, okay, at 7 o'clock. And I will see you guys in the next video. Rollin' Picker out.